What does stick in my mind is Kristallnacht. And that was very unpleasant indeed.
In Kristallnacht, in Vienna alone, they destroyed 23 major schools and about 60 Stiebler, prayer halls.
I remember that day very clearly because, to my utter amazement, my mother came to fetch me from school, which she'd never done before, and there were quite a few parents waiting for their children outside this Jewish school. So I think they must have got wind that something was afoot. And anyway, by the time we got, my mother and I got home, they gave us 2 hours to get out of our flat.
The day of the Kristallnacht, we were collected from school during the middle of the day, and after that we never went out again. And I saw some scenes on the way home which I don't want to see again.
I actually saw them bring out scrolls, Sifrei Torah, and actually dance on them, and in one case urinate on them. That was certainly concentrated in my mind.
Something like 10 or a dozen stormtroopers just invaded our flat, looted everything they could lay their hands on, even to the extent of grabbing a necklace that was around my sister's neck. And of course carted off my father and grandfather to the Gestapo headquarters in the Schwedenplatz. But fortunately, they emerged unscathed.
My mother in the morning, it was the 10th of November, said to me, Otto, I want you to walk away as far as possible. It was cold. I put my heavy coat on. She saw the 10-shilling note, shilling, that was our currency, for emergency. And she said to me, go as far away as you can and then come back when it's dark. Now I felt this is rather strange because my mother had always told me not to go far away. But as I said earlier, I knew Vienna very well. I knew my way to the center. And what I saw then, well, that was something which nobody, especially a child, should witness. I walked to the geographical heart of Vienna, which is St. Stephen's Cathedral, the Stephansturm. And I saw elderly men and women, obviously Jewish men and women, men with their beards, scrubbing the floor. You know, we have in Vienna still to this very day, and we certainly had horse-drawn taxi, we call them fiacre, the French fiacre. And of course the horses would cause a certain mess. And it was this mess that these people had to clear up. And there was police there. But the police was not to prevent this going on. The police was there to keep order, because you were perfectly entitled to kick these people into the mess, but you had to take your turn. Now you've had your bit of fun, you come back. I think I grew up that day.
Eventually we had a knock on our door, which we expected, and I don't know how we communicated. I don't think we had a phone. Maybe we had a phone to communicate with my aunt and uncle, I don't know. And the Nazis were there, and who was leading them? Our very nice, friendly neighbour with them. And I came in and looked around and said, well, we'll have the radio, we'll take the radio. I was going to go out in the back room, we'll take the radio. I don't know if they took anything else, quite honestly. They might have taken 1 or 2 things. And I said, the most important thing, they took my father.
My father was taken to Dachau, and this brother as well. And they were there 3 months, on November the 10th, 1938. And when my father came home, we hardly recognised him. He'd shrunk to a little boy. All we recognised was his voice. And my mother got him out from postcards that were written from the 1918 war. And that's how she managed to get him out of Dachau.
I was arrested on the 10th together with my father, to go to Dachau concentration camp. We were lined up in a yard, all Jews and communists, and there was shouting going on. And they already had my paper that I was emigrating to Shanghai. They showed them the paper. And after about 5 minutes, somebody shouted out, "Boxer!" You see, out. So I came out, and there was somebody sitting there. I said, "There are my papers. I'm going to Shanghai next week." That was on the 10th. Blah, blah, blah. They talked, they looked at the paper. Out. "You can go." I said, no, I can't go out. My father is still there. "What's the name?" "Heinrich Boxer." So I called out Heinrich Boxer. They came out, and they said, "You're also going to Shanghai?" And I kicked my father. I still remember that, underneath. I said, "Yep." So, yeah. You see, he realized what then they apparently, the fellow who was sitting there, they knew our coffee house as well. He says, "I know your coffee house, you know. It's not no longer our coffee house. It's been taken away."